We continue with this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture from the Cabildo. And how do you like my new co-host? One of the reproductions of a Native American found here at the Cabildo. You can learn lots about the history of Louisiana here, so you want to come out and visit for sure. Downtown New Orleans is filled with the sounds of sirens, streetcars, and the clatter of horse and buggies rolling down the pavement. And you may notice that my partner Kristen has wandered off and I've gotten this nice replacement. Well, knowing her, she's looking for something blooming on the bayou.
So we're here in New Orleans for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention, and I know what you're thinking. How on earth are we going to do a blooming on the bayou? Well, let's go see if we can find some green space. Okay guys, we're here on the top of the New Orleans Convention Center. You can see the background of the Riverwalk. And we're here with Erica Nolan, founder of Instar Farms. And she started a very special project on the top of the Convention Center. And Erica, tell me a little bit about how you started this business, first of all.
Absolutely, it's really exciting. So when I bought my first home, I bought it with the intention of building my urban farm model with all raised beds, all growing organically. And as soon as I built those raised beds, the business exploded. Everybody wanted to do the same, grow their own food in their own backyard. And 3 years later, here we are atop of the New Orleans Convention Center.
And so how did this idea come about?
So the Convention Center and Centerplate, who is the food distributor for the Convention Center, reached out to me because they knew what I was doing and they wanted the same. They had this empty concrete space that wasn't being used for anything. And it's been the perfect place to build a 220-foot long raised bed and grow food. And so we got started. This is our second season and it's just been a huge success.
Okay, well let's go take a look at all of the things that you're growing here and how you got it started.
Well, we knew we wanted this garden on the rooftop in this unused concrete space. And as far as where to place it, we wanted it along the perimeter of the rooftop because that was the most structural support for this 220-foot long raised bed. We had these 1,000-plus-pound bags of soil provided by Laughing Buddha Nursery. And in order to get those bags up here, we used a crane. So a crane lifted up these bags. We held them over the beds, cut them open, and just filled the whole thing up. It was epic.
Wow, that was a project and a half,
Yeah,
I bet.
It was.
It's broken up between your 4 major crops that you've got out here right now. How did you guys decide which crops that you're going to grow up here?
Yeah, so we wanted to do, out of the 220-foot long bed, we wanted to divide it up into 4 major crops, so that way we could get as much of one type of vegetable as possible. Specifically to the rooftop, it's been important to find varieties that either don't get too big, don't get too tall. So we're growing a bunch of dwarf varieties because with it being on the rooftop, wind can be an issue and it can knock down plants. Right here, we're growing sugar baby watermelons. They're a smaller watermelon than your larger watermelons, and so we'll end up getting more of these smaller watermelons instead of just like a few larger watermelons. We could certainly grow a variety, but in order to feed so many people here at the Convention Center, it's ideal that we just pick a few groups, and that way we can get more harvest from those.
We use every bit of it. It goes to any and most of our signature dishes and things like that. Anywhere we can use, we design seasonal menus around the garden. So depending on what harvest we can get out of it is what we focus our menus on. And we can't really keep enough coming out of the garden. So we're looking at several ways to expand.
So the flowers interspersed in this raised bed was a major part of the design because in the middle of downtown New Orleans, pollination can be an issue. Naturally, bees and other pollinators don't want to hang out in the middle of downtown. So we have planted a bunch of flowers that will attract the pollinators, and as you can see, we've got sweat bees going crazy right now over this rutabaga, black-eyed Susans, some gaura, and we've seen all kinds of pollinators, honeybees, some parasitic wasps, and we've also seen hummingbirds. So it's pretty amazing the life that has come up here since we planted this garden.
Erica, thank you so much for showing us this little piece of agriculture that's up here in the middle of downtown New Orleans. You wouldn't even know it's here. I think it's great how you're adding green to a very cinder block landscape. But you also help people grow their own garden at home if they need some help in urban areas.
I love to tell folks that I'm happy just to be a resource. So they can send me pictures of problems or pests, and I will identify them and help get them on a good route.
And you can submit your pictures, problems, questions with the hashtag Bayou Blooms, and we'll send them over to her and she could help us out answering some of those questions. And another thing that y'all have partnered with is the Farm to Table conference that's here every September.
Yes, every September. This year it is September 7th and 8th. It's a Friday and Saturday. And it is so much fun. Every year it gets better. They usually have some animals, they'll have information sessions, food, music. It is a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure we'll be there to check it out, and we'll post a link to the conference and to Instar Farms on our website. Thank you so much for joining us and inviting us up here, Erica.
Thank you.
So we'll see you next time, Blooming on the Bayou.